Hi, everyone. Harry here to talk about what seems like more than anecdotal or isolated pushback from federal employees who've gotten the sack in the 6 weeks since Trump has been in office and feel, particularly aggrieved for a couple reasons. One, in so many instances, they've been fired after just getting exemplary performance reviews with total phony baloney, basically made up evaluations that suggest they haven't been doing a good job. That's the kind of thing, getting an actual false and nasty account of your work. I think if you put yourself in their shoes, that can be really infuriating. That's part of it. And then many of these folks say, look, I would have tried to work with them. I would have tried to achieve greater efficiency on behalf of the American people. And I'm not saying we didn't have room for trimming and the like, but they come in with the blunderbuss and just throw us out. And now this is the way they some of it's being framed. I wouldn't go too far with this idea. With the idea now we are a deep state, as in there is a core crew of people who have been fired who are really now implacable enemies of the administration. And it's understandable. I always suggest starting out by looking at the lie. And, we've really just permitted Trump to lie wantonly and it just washes over us. I'm not sure why, but when you are on the other end of it, when your ox is being gored based on a rank lie, that is really, really galling, I think. Okay. So what we have here is a lot of different ways in which people are fighting back. The big one, of course, is lawsuits, and federal employees are bringing a lot of lawsuits to try to, in general, they have softened the ground, have the Trump administration, for a really vast RIF, reduction in force, it's called. And so we're at this kind of juncture where the plaintiffs and federal employees can come diving in and say, don't do this. It'll be too late once they do. There is a focus on a statement that was made by the not very thoughtful Musk DOGE crew. The way to greater American prosperity, they say, is encouraging people to move from lower productivity jobs in the public sector to higher productivity jobs in the private sector. So just think about that. Basically, we're going to encourage prosperity by firing all you guys. And then there's the suggestion at the surface, basically, that you're not being productive in your jobs in the public sector. They are applying stereotypes of the lazy deep state Fed. I've worked in the federal government. There are some coasters, but really a very impressive group of people who are so motivated and work so hard to do the right thing, exactly what you'd want them to do in the government. And so this wholesale assumption that they're just nasty deep staters is, with no basis at all. Who is Elon Musk? What has he ever done to understand the federal government and how it works and the like? He is kind of a joke to be in this role. He sent a lot of he sort of poured fuel on the fire, not necessarily on purpose, but he's posted things like, I am 1,000% more trustworthy than untold numbers of deep state bureaucrats and fraudsters. So, so many of his communications just assume this deep, corrupt, underbelly of lazy and politicized, just the biggest caricature of the federal workforce. And if you're of the federal workforce, it doesn't work so well. And it feels like not just a lie, but a really nasty lie by people with a real megaphone, because, he works directly for the president of the United States and people cover him. And it's, really very kind of resentful, all the things that have happened. So anyway, the workers now, you're seeing a lot of lawsuits, and they are involved in them. You're seeing real demonstrations, like big demonstrations outside of Tesla factories, or there have been other spots. I saw kind of a beautiful pro-Ukrainian demonstration in New York. This is far afield, I guess, but I'll mention it since I'm talking about where the Ukrainian flag was kind of stretched out over Broadway. You also now have other folks stepping up for the laid off workers and sort of showing up, the way a big strike happens when there are, support for the besieged employees. That's another big step now, if it comes to that level. I don't think we're yet at anywhere near a kind of really national inflamed controversy over the big labor strike. But where we are is some serious pushback by federal workers who might, if they played it differently, have tried to be helpful. A lot of lying, so it would seem, by the government in trying to oust people, and a general sense of, deep demoralization and resentment on the part of the federal workforce, which I think is only going to get worse, especially if there are lawsuits and the plaintiffs win them. So the bottom line here is noteworthy kind of pushback from federal employees, and it's all bolstered, of course, by legal actions, some of which are pretty well taken. So, keep watching for how big that gets. We've gone from close to zero pushback to some, and we'll see how that proceeds. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.